So one of the challenges that I get asked about is how do you stay proactive as an entrepreneur or as a business person or just generally in life? And it's something that I get asked about a lot and something I dwell on a lot. And some of the changes that I've made in life have kind of enabled me to be really proactive and really productive in my kind of day-to-day doings. One thing that I do is I make sure that when I'm doing tasks, I don't do hours and hours of tasks planning. Let's say when I'm planning, if I'm going to write a book, for example, I don't plan the whole book to be written in one go. Kind of makes sense. Maybe I look at just small chunks to be written. In fact, I only look at writing no more than 5 minutes worth of work on a task. Now that sounds a bit strange because why would you only spend 5 minutes on a task? Whereas in fact, the task might be an hour or 2 hours? Inertia. Now one of the challenges that I'm sure all of us face and all of us kind of know about is this idea that sometimes when you know you've got that big chunk of work you need to do, I don't know, tax return, and you've got that coming on the horizon, you just don't want to start. It's just you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. And then you have to kind of end up doing it when it's too late and you kind of rush through it really quickly. However, if instead you only allocate 5 minutes to actually start that task off, what you'll end up finding is when you only allocate 5 minutes, you will do 5 minutes of work, but inevitably you'll end up doing 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of work on that task. And the reason for that is, it's the inertia that actually stops you from starting the task. Once you start the task, you're running, you're going wild. But just starting that task off is is the difficulty. So there's an example. When NASA were designing the space shuttles, when that space shuttle takes off from the ground, just to get it off the ground, it uses 50% of all the fuel that it needs for the whole journey, just in getting it off the ground. Talk about inertia. And what's even crazier, just to get 1 meter off the ground, 90% of the fuel for the whole journey is taken up in just to get that space shuttle 1 meter off the ground. So that type of inertia inevitably translates into our own lives. To actually sit and do the task is where most of the effort is actually taken. So if you can just sit and actually get to that seat and actually start working, or get to that chair or floor or wherever it is you work, computer, you actually start working on the task. And once you start working, you're away. You're flying because you're in the zone. You're then working, you're motivated, you're energized, etc. So the inertia is in just trying to get to that seat. That's why I only set myself a task that I'm going to start a task only for 5 minutes, because that 5 minutes ensures that I actually sit down and start working. And that ends up creating this immense momentum, it creates immense energy, and once you've done a task, you feel great about it. So 5 minutes, that's all you need. There's a famous quote that to move a mountain, you carry a stone at a time. Yeah? 5 minutes at a time, 5 minutes at a time, and you end up moving that mountain. I think that was a quote by Confucius.